Hey guys, VaulSC here. Hope that you're having a good week. We're well into the sign-ups of the campaign now. It's really going strong. But this week I decided to meet up and interview 8 faction commanders, the people who are responsible for coordinating and organizing the teams who are going to be in this campaign. Many of you guys have seen their names in chat and heard a little bit about them, but I want you to get to know them a little bit more because they're going to be responsible for coordinating the kind of experience that you're going to be having in this campaign. So here's the footage. I sat down with each of them individually, and here's what they had to say. All right, let's go. Okay. Faction Commander Perzan from Haqqislam. Do you want to just start off with your username? Because there's a couple of people, even in your team, who probably don't know the illustrious history of Perzan, and a lot of people in the campaign who are just new faces that have just signed up to the Discord. I don't even know who they are, so who are we dealing with here?
I am Perzan. In this campaign, I'm Perzan as-Sabbāh. I am everywhere. Throughout this sphere, I traveled meeting key players in all the events, gathering intelligence, gaining their trust, removing them. I am illuminated by the Burak Sun, and I am the hand of Haqqislam High Command. So I am also the old voice of the old man. So I gathered all those other assets and have them at my disposal.
Aha. All right. Now, you also led Haqqislam in the previous campaign, Operation Wraithstar, and I'm just about to look up the leaderboard. Okay, so bottom half. I mean, you did your best. I mean, you won some games there, but looks like 48 tournament points scored. Do you want to just tell me what do you attribute the results to, and can we expect anything different next time around? I mean, let's go.
We were honoring a long-standing alliance with the Nomads, and we set up to establish a commerce-friendly space. Alien agents pitched us against each other, though, and the old man saw an opportunity there, and sacrifice was made to elevate one of us, and the Nomads were the elevated ones. And it allowed them to grasp the ultimate prize out of Pano hands, but they failed. The luck failed them at the very last moment.
All right, well, we'll see how you go next time. I mean, we've got three rounds ahead of us, so I'll be looking at your performance and your results very closely. Now, we're still in the sign-up phase of the campaign. I'm just looking at my spreadsheet. As of right now, we just had another person. Oh, we just had somebody sign up as Hassan Baram just while we were talking. So that's one more person. I'm not too sure where he's from. I don't recognize his name. He was struggling with getting the campaign formalities sorted out. That takes us to how many players? 10 for Haqqislam. We're up to, as we speak and record this, we're up to about 83. I've looked at the NA2 roster. I'm not too sure if you checked the spreadsheet in the last half an hour, but they are almost all JSA players. I've said to them, look, if we get any more JSA players on board, I'm going to move the other mercenaries, Tohad, Dashat, and Nakari. They're just going to go to Haqqislam. I'm just going to move them over. But, I mean, that may not happen. We still may have a couple of gaps. Do you have any message for people who are just on the fence right now, thinking of maybe joining Haqqislam or thinking of fighting against you? Any message there?
Yes, definitely. Haqqislam High Command takes good care of their own, providing ample opportunities for training and sharing knowledge and intelligence. Know that the best minds and knives will be at your side. You can join Captain Temporal of Rame Menforce or Meme Master Captain Vlad of Mimikarki.
Love
Also,
that guy.
we are still awaiting our silent assassin.
Fantastic. Okay, so you've probably seen the list of missions and you understand the system by which the missions will be randomized. Earlier today I dropped 8 maps, first half of the map pool. Have you seen any of the maps yet or too early to check?
Not yet.
Not yet. I appreciate that it was released just moments before this interview, but I'm sure over the next 24 hours you'll check them out. Now, here's some new information that you don't know yet. I am thinking of choosing one mission per team and using the remaining maps I haven't created yet. I will allow you guys to select one mission that will be the Haqqislam home base, and the map that will be played for that mission will have maybe some small special rule that gives Haqqislam a bonus if you're lucky enough to roll that map, and that mission will be unvetoable, so your opponents can't choose to avoid that mission. Now, I know that this is impromptu, you're at a disadvantage. In your head, can you think of maybe one mission that you would choose to be the home base of Haqqislam?
Not yet. Haqqislam is now good at any mission. Thank you.
Well, I'm giving you an unfair advantage. You can tell me later, because I'm giving you an unfair disadvantage by putting you on the spot, because the other people will see my post and they'll know. But in general, what are your thoughts about the missions?
Yeah, all the missions are good.
Okay. All right. Now, we are going to ask you guys to allocate your resources, the GSP system, and I'm looking at my calendar. I would like you guys to decide at the latest by Wednesday, the 3rd of March. Okay, so that's 2 days before the first round. I'm not going to ask you to tell me what your strategy is right now, but do you have any thoughts about the GSP system that you want to share with me at all?
Well, you can go either the gamble way or the calculation way. The choice seems clear, but we'll see.
Yeah, okay. No, fair enough. Now, every player is going to be bringing a campaign correspondent. I couldn't help noticing that you've already prepared one, which you seem to have been sharing with your team. Do you have any thoughts about the Camcore system or your individual Camcore?
Well, yeah, I will use Libby in buffing suit, and she buffed in the Sands of 100 Worlds already. Thousands of astonished eyes followed her ample curves. What the fuck were their last words? And that's she will be useful here too.
Fantastic. Okay. All right, the serious stuff. First round coming up next week. If all goes according to plan and there's no changes, and there may still be changes, it's projected that you'll be facing the combined army, and we really know that means the Morats field the battle next week. So Haqqislam versus Morats. How do you think that's going to go? What do you think of that matchup overall? Would you prefer a different opponent? Talk to me about it.
Well, it's going to be definitely interesting. I heard that the Monke are lacking subtlety. I tend to disagree. I heard monkey brain is a delicacy.
A delicacy? Did I hear that correctly?
Yes.
A delicacy. Oh, okay. All right. We'll see. We'll see how they respond. All right. So we'll finish up the interview in a second. Anything that you really want to get off your chest about the other players, other commanders, other factions in the campaign? Just leave us with your final thoughts about the adversaries.
We will continue our Haqqislam way of supporting the smaller players, and we will try to protect the unwashed savages of Ariadna from the grasp of the bigger
Sorry, did you say unwashed savages of Ariadna?
Sorry, that was maybe a slip up.
All right, my man. Thank you, Perzan. We'll get your interview broadcasted, and good luck on the campaign. You're doing a good job. All right, so we're here with White One, YuJing Commander. Welcome, my friend. Welcome. This is your first campaign with us, but I noticed that you were playing in the TTS League Season 3. Congratulations, my friend. You actually did really, really well. You were playing Haqqislam, though, if that's correct.
But yeah, that's correct.
YuJing, what made you decide to take charge of YuJing for this campaign, my friend?
So to be honest, YuJing is like my favorite faction of all.
Yep.
So it was very obvious for me to just support my faction and try to score as many victories as possible. So
excellent. I mean, tell us a bit more about yourself. Whereabouts are you from? What's your experience with Infinity?
Yeah. Okay. So I'm actually coming probably as everyone, most of the people who are playing war games. I'm coming from Warhammer, and I had been playing it for maybe 13 years or so. But 5 years ago, I actually switched the system and started playing Infinity.
5 years?
And I found, yeah,
That's
I'm
about
playing
the same
for
as
5
me.
years now. Yeah, yeah. So, yeah, the reason why I decided to switch is that I was looking for something different, so with less emphasis on YouTube buying stuff every month. And actually, I think that Infinity suits all of my needs now, and I really enjoy the way how game evolves. So, yeah, Infinity was like a very, very enjoying journey for me. And I usually enjoy playing competitive over some hobby stuff. Don't find myself painting a lot of miniatures, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's unfortunate though, because Infinity is just luck and dice rolls. So
exactly, yeah, yeah. No skill required. Just rolling lots of crits, and that's it. So
hey, man,
that's what people tell me about my my games usually.
Hey, last year we did Operation Wraithstar campaign. Did you follow that? Do you know what happened during that campaign?
Actually, no. I saw the results of your team, and YuJing did fairly mediocre, I think.
In the middle. They were 5th out of 8, 50 points. Pano got 61. The lowest was 45. Now, they were being led by Badlazzor. So he led them through to 5th place. Now, he has seceded from the faction, just as the Japanese have from YuJing. It's very thematic, actually. He's broken away from them, and he's now leading the Japanese in this coming campaign. And YuJing have you instead. How do you predict that the faction's going to fare now that you're the boss?
Well, actually, I think that we will do okay. And don't want to say anything about the previous results because I was not part of this campaign. But it's going to be a different story now.
Excellent. All right. Well, we've still got another week to go before the first round starts. I just posted on Facebook inviting people to continue signing up. We've got almost 100 players now, which is nice. But there's still more coming. And we even have some people who are asking me, oh, should I play for Pano? Should I play for YuJing? What should I do? What's your message to people who haven't signed up yet? Why would you want them to be on your team?
Well, I would like to see more people just joining the campaign overall, especially if they are from my local gaming group or somebody I know. Guys, join. That's going to be a great experience. I think we're all going to have some fun. If we're talking about the YuJing specifically, I think that's a wonderful faction. It has all of the needed tools for you to play with any style you want. And actually, it could support some of the most bizarre ideas in list building and still get very competitive. So I think it's just a wonderful army.
Excellent. Now there's 15 missions coming up. I take it you've had a chance to look at them. Have you had a little look at the sample maps that I made available the other day?
Yeah, actually I did. I liked them quite a lot. And I think that all the missions and most of the maps are solid.
YuJing can handle them?
Yeah, definitely. YuJing can handle anything.
Of course. Now, there's the GSP system as well. I would like you to talk to your team about how you want to spend the GSP resource system, assuming you've read the rules in the pack. On Wednesday, that would be the last day to decide, and then I'd like you to contact me and tell you what the team's decision was. So is that all right with you?
Yeah, definitely.
Great.
We didn't have too much talk with the team yet, but I think it's
Still
going to be something we will do in the nearest days.
What do you think about the campaign correspondent Camcore system? Are you gonna give your Camcore a little bit of background? Have you got a miniature to use, or have you not really prepared that yet?
So it's still in progress, but I think that my Camcore is going to be somebody from the diplomatic agency of YuJing, an ambassador of YuJing Empire, and she will be trying to manipulate some of the political
I like it.
stuff.
I like it, man. Now, as you know, the GSP system does allow a faction to bid points and maybe change the actual matchups of the teams in the first round. Assuming that doesn't happen, or assuming it doesn't affect you, your team will have to play Aleph in 012 round 1. Okay, so this is the Southern California guys. They've got a lot of good players. They've got a lot of new players as well, but there's a good 5 or 6 people in there that are very experienced. They're posting memes every single day. I've been reading their chat. They're just keen to attack you guys and kill. Are you ready? What do you think that matchup's gonna have?
So I think that we will approach this from a different perspective, of just them letting to trash talk and to do all of the funny memes and stuff, but we will actually prepare and execute.
You'll actually prepare. Unlike them, it's just all memes.
Exactly.
One member of your team is Chainsaw from, I think it's Arizona. He's been bringing his American friends in, so it's not exactly like your team has no theme whatsoever. You also have some pockets of actual experienced players and metas in there, which is really good to see. Lastly, I gotta go because I've got Badlazzor knocking on the door, wanting to get into the voice call. Any last thoughts about your team, about your opponents, about the campaign? Anything you want to get off, and messages for other people who are watching this?
Yeah. So first of all, I would like to shout out everyone who knows me personally. Guys, again, just join the teams. It would be a great experience and quite fun for everyone. So no matter if you're joining YuJing or our faction. Yeah, especially I have some interest in playing Morads, because I know quite a few of guys from their team.
They're a fun team.
And I think that is going to be a very, very interesting match, and I'm definitely looking forward to playing some of them. So yeah, just enjoy it and have some fun.
Nice one, Mr. White. Well, thank you very much. Good luck in the upcoming campaign, my friend, and I will be watching your results closely. So I'll leave it at that, and thank you for coming to this interview.
Thank you.
All right, catch you later, buddy. All right, so now we're here with Mr. Badlazzor, who is the, I was going to say the NA2 commander, but it's not really NA2 anymore. It's just the Japanese sectorial army. Now, last campaign, you were leading YuJing, but you seem to have seceded from them in the same way that JSA have dropped out of YuJing completely. You've dropped out of YuJing. Can you tell me a little bit more about why that happened, and where we're at now, and who are you?
Yeah, of course. So, well, YuJing, I love YuJing still. I probably shouldn't say that, but right now, I mean, I'm
you may have to fight them. You may have to kill them in the streets in a few weeks.
Yep, I know. I still love JSA. I still really love the design behind those miniatures. So I think that's why I always wanted to try them. And I played a lot against my local worker. So he was playing JSA. So I really like the way they do things in Infinity. About me, I mean, you can probably find me online because of my maps regarding TTS.
We will be using some of your maps in this campaign. So, and thank you, by the way. I appreciate you.
Yeah, no
problem. Available for everyone because I need to come up with 15 maps, and my wrist is starting to get injured from making maps all day. Like it's getting so I'm just starting to cop out and like taking Badlazzor's maps instead because I'm running out of time.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I'm happy to lend them whoever they want to play with. So yeah, sure.
Hey, so last campaign, here's an interesting statistic for you. YuJing ended up with 50 tournament points, 5th place. NA2, 50 points, 4th place. Only tiebreaker is objective points or whatever it was. And now you're in NA2, so I was going to ask what's going to be different this time. I've just talked to White. He's pretty confident that YuJing is going to do well. Any goals for this campaign?
Any goals? Well, it's a campaign. I think it's around fun. So we achieved at least a great thing already because we have a lot of only JSA players in our faction. I think that's a huge achievement already, and I think our goal is to show everybody what the unnameable bands and ninjas can do on the field, and show that JSA is in a good place in N4.
I'm just looking at the roster. So we just had this Spaniards sign up, Draglius and Axel Castell, and they're pretty experienced. They're on board. I mean, you do have a lot of newbies. Like, there are a lot of people on your team not very experienced. Aloha from New Zealand, he asked me if he could play. I put him on the team. Aeon received some training from me last time, so if he doesn't do better than last time, I'm not going to be happy. Cobra Prime is an absolute champion, so you've at least got a strong player there.
Yeah.
Earlier today, we had Papu and Minas, very strong, again, Spanish players, both sign up, and they wrote in the form, I want to be NA2, and they didn't even specify which NA2 sectorial. So I said to them, look, talk to Badlazzor. If you want, you can play an NA2 sectorial, and I'll put you in another team, or you can sign up as JSA. What do you want to do? And he said, I'll get back to you. But he hasn't. How is that conversation going?
He's asking me. Actually, I tend to speak with them. I'm playing with them regularly, and they wanted to be in the team. I suppose it's just they I think don't really like JSA. So
they won't be the team. They don't play JSA. Well, there's going to be a problem there.
Yeah,
because we're going the pure way. Well, I'll leave it into your own time to sort that out. Now, I just posted on Facebook a little while ago. There's still 5 days for people to sign up. We've got like nearly 100 players already, which is crazy. But if there's more sign-ups, I will evenly distribute among the teams. Any message from you to fans out there who are thinking they're on the fence? Do I play JSA? Do I go for a different faction?
Yeah, totally. So I think what better style than Space Ninjas and Space Samurais to join to, right? So just look at the miniatures. I mean, I absolutely adore JSA miniatures. So if you would like to, try out your Space Ninjas and throwing Space Kunais or something, then this is the faction you are looking for. So if you are Dirty Weeaboo, we are the ones.
Nice. Do you have any thoughts about the missions or the maps? Did you you've had a look at the maps that I put out, my ones?
Yep, I did. I really like the map layout, but I already said that even before the your competition of TTS maps that I like your maps. So I wasn't the one you needed to convince. So I hope my maps will be fine as well. I know that people may have trouble with loading up XCOM assets. So the mission lineup, I mean, I like the way we are trying to minimize the random factors and the like. So I really like the mission lineup as well.
One thing that might happen actually is with the randomization of which map you get is that some people will play on the same map twice, which is it's not great, but it's sort of unavoidable at this point. I am actually tweaking some of your maps. You might have already noticed on the train map, I've actually doubled up the crates in the middle just to... Because it's decapitation, it's about killing things. I wanted to sort of at least block off a little bit of line of fire, but that's all right.
Yeah, no, totally. I already said that, I never even play on my maps before submitting them, so that's totally
I'm
fine.
the same. Like, when we did the TTS League Season 3, the last couple of maps, I didn't even play them until, like, the other day. Moving on. So have you talked to your team about how you're going to allocate the GSPs for your faction? You don't have to tell us publicly, but I do need you guys to decide and for you to report back to me by Wednesday, and also to choose your team champion for the first round. It can change each round, but this is something you need to start talking about, yeah? To get a little bit of sessions out.
Yeah, we didn't started that. I
just go in there, it's just memes and constantly scrolling.
Yeah, totally. And lists and the like. We are enjoying ourselves around the list. So no, not yet. I really like the system. So I think we will be definitely want to try some shenanigans on the points.
Do you guys have a camp core that you're going to... I mean, I go into Haqqislam camp, and they've already got their own model, which the whole faction's going to use, and they've got a background for it and stuff. I mean, have you looked into that at all?
No, I have one model, which I would like to scan in.
Oh, look at that. Nice.
Yeah, I'm still trying. I want to enforce everybody to use it, because it's a YuJing model.
Looks good.
I don't know.
It's the female engineer.
Not yet. She's a defector from YuJing, so she was, a citizen of the State Empire, and she is with us now. So
hey,
she was a doctor, and she has the uniform still.
Yeah, just the memento. All right, so we're talking about GSPs. You can bid some GSPs to mess around with the team matchup. So if you really want to change who's playing against who, you'll have an opportunity if you bid enough. But assuming that your matchup doesn't get changed, you will be having to play against the Nomads. Mr. Radek, round one. How do you expect that to go?
Nomads, that's a really hard thing to go against in N4. I'm a bit afraid of that, but yeah, I mean, if we have to face that, we will. We can't change our line, our matchup, if I'm right, according to the GSP
That's right.
system.
I mean, looking at their team, they've got the Latvians. We've got Dementor and Dev are in there. You know what they're like. Estegon asked me if he could play O12. I said no. Nomads need you. Chucked him in there. But a lot of them are fresh and new. So again, I will be matching up your inexperienced guys with their inexperienced guys. But from then up, it's just going to be fists are flying, ninjas and swords and hacking.
Yeah, still the hacking. That's the part which I'm afraid of.
The maps that I've been making are pretty open. You can't deny that. I mean, but the thing is, Nomads do everything good. They have the big guns and the hacking.
That's the problem.
They've got
and the
so.
MSV too, if they really want to. So
yeah. All right. Well, we'll see. I'll be looking at that closely. All right. Well, we better finish up. Any last thoughts about your team or about your opponents, about the campaign, or anything else you want to leave us with, message-wise?
Yeah, still, so JSA will slash everything, cut into little pieces, right? Because we can do that.
Yeah,
that's it.
Word.
That's it.
All right, my friend. Well, thank you very much for coming to this interview. Good luck in the campaign. I look forward to seeing how you go. And yeah, go get him. JSA.
Yep. Thanks you. Bye.
Alrighty. Alrighty. So we're here with Mr. Gyro. He's been promoted. The Aleph boss. Cthulhu's been demoted. It's gone Cthulhu, then Gyro. Tell us how that happened. I mean, you're now in charge of the Southern California guys, plus a whole bunch of newbies and experienced players alike. Tell me who you are, for people who don't know.
Yeah, so hi, I'm Gyro. Live in Los Angeles, like you said. Yeah, we have a whole California delegation. Last time around, we were on the NA2 team, and this time we figured we'd try out Aleph. And I'm playing OSS myself, something I'm trying out. Normally I'm vanilla combined. Been playing for about a year and a half and mostly on tabletop sim, so I'm quite used to that.
Nice. You did pretty well in the league as well. Top 10. Congrats.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty. Yeah, that was a good time. So feel at least hopefully qualified to lead the team. We'll see how it goes.
And the memes are flying. I mean, Cav just sent me this, as soon as I got up, he sent me that a bag full of GIFs and stuff, which I'll try and put into a map. I'm trying to make some maps which will look a bit faction-themey, so I'll do an Aleph one next now that I've got all of the funny animations. I'm not going to use them all. I'll probably use the ones that are less animated, just because if you're playing an entire game with something just jumping out at you the entire thing, it could get a little bit difficult. Man, my eyes are so itchy. Alrighty, so you guys, well, when I say you guys, I'm talking about NA2, which you were in part of. That was, middle pack. But Aleph, last campaign, right at the bottom. So you think you can improve on that at all this time around? Or where's it going?
Management this time around, okay?
Different management.
And, yeah, the NA2 team, we were top half last time, and I think Aleph is probably a better... Aleph and O12, I should say. I don't want to leave out our Space Cop friends.
Space Cops.
I think we've got a little bit more material to work with this time.
That is true. And the Latvian guys who were in charge last time have been shunned out to the Nomads. They've been exiled. They've been outlawed. Alrighty, so we're still recruiting. We just hit 100 people, which is awesome. For those who are on the fence, thinking, the beams look cool, but should we sign up? Any message for people who might want to maybe join?
Well, the memes are great, that's for sure. We've got all sorts of memes. We've got Battlestar memes. We've got Judge Dredd memes. We've got RoboCop. We've got everything, and we're not going to be outdone in the meme department in the campaign chats.
Yeah. You got the mean sword, but none of you are able to win, right? It's just going to be memes. I don't know. That's not true. You've actually got some really strong players on your team. I think Aleph's going to do really, really well. Have you had a chance to look at some of the maps that came out, talk to the team about the missions, starting to prepare?
Yeah, I did a quick look at the 8 tables that came out so far, and I'm looking forward to seeing those the other ones, the home ones. The home. Interesting. Yeah, they look cool. I haven't analyzed them too in depth just yet.
Plenty of time.
Really gotten the tables too much. I played one actually just a minute ago on the Annihilation table. We played a game of Fire
yeah, that's Badlazzor's one.
Yeah,
if there's anything wrong with that table, it's his fault. I haven't changed it. Alrighty. So I need you to talk to the team about the GSP system because when Wednesday comes around in a couple of days, I really need you to report back with the team's decision about how you're going to allocate the points, and also talk to them about picking like a champion. You don't have to bet the GSP point on the champion, but you need to have one just in case the other team wants to put theirs up against yours. So you cool to do that? Just chat with the guys. Yep. You've been showing some great leadership so far, so keep it up. There's the Camcore system as well. Have you got yourself an appropriate Camcore model, any background to it, or is that still in the works, in the pipeline?
We sure do. I put together a very special Camcore for this campaign, which is RoboCop. I got some
sweet
assets online, made a little 3D TTS mini out of it, and I've made them available to the whole team. We've got an Aleph version and an O12 version.
Oh man, that is some serious organization.
I'm on the team. Yeah.
All right. Well, last night I talked to the commander of YuJing. You're playing YuJing this week, unless of course the GSP results change it. Somebody else could swap that matchup, but we'll see. He's sounding pretty confident. Their opinion is that they've got the memes, but they've also got the strategy and the tactics to back it up. How do you think that matchup's going to go? I mean, YuJing's looking pretty strong. They've got the Arizona camp. They've got some of the Europeans.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it should be interesting. I think we're gonna have some fun matchups because we got some great hacking. We're gonna give them hell with their heavy infantry. We've got some great CC battles that are gonna be coming between the Steel Phalanx characters, and all of YuJing is pretty good at that.
Yeah.
And you never know. We might get a curveball at the last second, depending on who does the GSP investment.
True, and the map that you'll play on individually will be randomized, so that's going to be hilarious. All right, so just about finished the interview. Any last thoughts about your opponents, any individuals, any shout-outs, any other message for people in the campaign? This is your one chance.
Yeah, I would just say that, the Monke invasion is coming, and all of the human factions are squabbling amongst themselves. They can't seem to get organized, so Aleph and O12 are going to have to step up and take
lay down the law.
We are the law.
All right, thanks, Mr. Gyro. Appreciate you coming to this interview, and good luck on the campaign, man. All the best.
Cheers, looking forward to it.
Alrighty, so we're here with Mr. Lobo, the returning commander of faction Ariadna. Good to have you back. For those of you who don't know, because we're getting new people, new faces coming all the time, you want to just tell us a little bit about yourself? I know you've been in every single VaulSC league, but yeah, just for people who just don't know anything about Mr. Lobo.
Sure. I've been miniature gaming for a long time now. First game I played was Rogue Trader back in 1990.
Oh, shit. That's a long time.
Yeah. And played pretty much everything Warhammer related for a while. Little other independent stuff like Frostgrave or Stargrunt. And then I guess about 4 years ago, I played N3 for the first time.
Yeah.
And
same.
I pretty much dumped all the 40k stuff and just switched completely to Infinity.
Fair enough. I did the same, but with Warm Hordes, I'd been into that after dumping the Warhammer stuff. Anyway, let's get to this campaign. So last time around, you successfully led the Ariadna camp to 3rd place. Great result. Didn't quite get there to the top, though. Do you reckon you can improve on that this time?
I think so. I think we just got unlucky when our champion didn't win any of his games.
That was Mustang, wasn't it?
Yes. Now, I'm not blame at his feet. He played excellent players, but 1 or 2 wins that extra point that we lost and denying the extra point to the other team could have meant second, maybe
That's
first.
The swing, yeah. I mean, I saw him in the camp. I mean, are you going to nominate him as the champion again, or is it going to be somebody different?
I think I'm going to pick Safer, actually. We just played in the Old Dominion Disagreement. That's been running the past 5 weeks, and I won, and Safer came in second.
Oh, congratulations. There you go.
Thank you. And so I think I'm going to nominate him to be champion this time.
Nice, and we'll see if any GSP gets bet on him, but we'll get to that. Alrighty, so look, we just hit 100 players in the campaign. It's going really well. We've still got a few days left for people to sign up. If there are people still on the fence and they're thinking, well, I like the look of the memes over in the left camp, but I like Ariadna as well. Do you have any message to the people who are maybe considering joining the team?
Well, I think every faction in Infinity is unique, but what I like about Ariadna is their niche is that there's a lot of things there that sort of harken back to military units of today. Like there's a lot of the Ariadna grunts or the SAS or a lot of the Merovingian stuff.
The Blackjacks.
You can be playing a modern army, right? And then when you add in the wolves and the bears, that's sort of just a unique, cool thing that Ariadna has to play around with.
Nice. Have you had a chance to look at the missions and maybe a few of the maps that I sort of pre-released the other day?
I looked at the missions. I have not had a chance to look at the maps. I like the missions. I think you've skipped a lot of the ones that are reliant on the cards, which I appreciate. The only thing I will say, the only ones I'm not a huge fan of are Panic Room and the Armory, because it is such a huge advantage to go second.
Yep.
That I think it skews the game for those two missions specifically.
I actually agree. I'm with you on that one. I did my best making some decent maps for them. Some factions may veto those rooms if they feel like they're not going to be able to sort of outmuscle Ariadna or whatever it is, and also individual players will get a random map, so it may not actually come up that much, but never know.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I think Ariadna is really good at those maps.
Yeah.
I
know. I feel you. Hey, so we're starting to talk about this GSP system. I would like you to report back to me by Wednesday as to what the team and yourself have decided about how you'll allocate the points. And you've already told me about your faction champion, but again, just run that past the guys, make sure they're on board with it. So you keen to come up with a bit of a strategy and let me know in the next couple of days?
Sure.
Yeah.
I actually like the idea of the GSP. It gives me, as a faction leader, something to do more than just sort of cheerlead everyone.
Yeah.
I think some of the uses of the GSP are better than others. I'm not going to say which ones because,
Of course. And this is something I've said to the other guys, but I'm planning on actually announcing some adjustments to those mechanics as the campaign progresses. So, it'll get interesting. So keep your eye out for that. Now, round one, PanOceania. They are actually looking pretty strong. I've seen some real doozy sign-ups. We just had Locustron show up with Varuna, so that's going to be painful. You've already got the TTS champ Panda in there with his buddy Anth, who's also pretty good. Brother Spanker swore an oath to play military orders until the end of N4. I don't know if you know that, but that's why he's there instead of with Morats. ThananRollice, haven't interviewed him yet, but he's done pretty well in the leagues. They do have some newer players in there as well, but it looks like it's going to be a tough matchup, man. What do you think is going to happen?
Pano is not easy. They have a lot of access to MSV, which negates our big advantage of smoke and camouflage.
Yep.
And they have some really good units with Mimetism -6.
Yeah.
And we don't have MSV2 and not a lot of units of MSV1. So it is a tough matchup. But we do what we can.
Yeah, I'm going to be looking at it with a close eye.
Unless they're playing military orders. So the idea is get in and beat them up in close combat.
All right, man. Well, that pretty much does it for the interview. But just lastly, any final thoughts about the opposing teams, the individuals on them, your team, anybody you want to shout out, anything you want to sort of leave us with?
No, I'm excited to have our team. Tofu's on my team. I love that guy. He's really good. Safer, Mustang. A bunch of the other guys are newer. I haven't met them. I haven't played with them yet, but they seem to be interested in theory crafting their lists. So I'm excited to play.
Definitely, man. Well, good luck for the campaign. I'm sure you do well, and can't wait to see how you go.
Yep. Thanks a lot.
Catch you later, buddy. All right, now we're here with Radek, returning as the boss of the Nomads, the faction commander. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing very well. Thank you very much.
You're looking sharp, I must say. You are dressed to impress. Obviously, more of a higher-ranking officer than the representatives that the other faction sent me, which I'm still obviously really disappointed by. Now, there are a lot of new people signing up to this campaign. Some of them may not have dealt with you before. Who is Radek? We just need to know.
So, I'm just some Polish guy who lives in the UK because of reasons, and I'm playing war games for like 17 years because, yep, since I was a little kid and I was playing with toy soldiers, I was thinking, god damn, it would be nice if those things had rules. So yeah, currently I'm playing Infinity and Malifaux because they just give me the most joy.
Yeah, I can't argue with that. Now, let's go and have a look. Last campaign, everyone knows that you should have won. 60 tournament points to 61. Somehow the cheating knights came in and took that away from you. What happened last time, and what can we expect this time?
Alright. So, last time, I just had some problems with my family, and that was really affecting my performance on the battlefield. And I really do take all this humiliating defeat as just my personal mistake. But this will not happen again. This time, I'm sure I'm gonna be playing much better, and I'm gonna take it personally to deliver Nomads to victory.
And Nomads have been buffed.
Exactly.
So there's no excuse for failure this time. Next time, different commander, all right? You've been warned. All right, so we just hit 100 people in the campaign. It's going really, really well. Plenty of people on the Nomads team. Just going to go and have a look at the roster. Where is my browser? Now, there's probably still a few people who are thinking about signing up, still on the fence. Do you have any message for people who haven't yet got on board, and why should they be in your team?
Freedom. Because in Nomads, we do have freedom. We are not used to, what's the word for that, dependent on the Aleph. No, we are free of that.
You're independent.
Yeah, we're independent, we are free, and we have the great technology. We don't fight for some silly religion or some weird prejudice. No, we fight for money, good life.
You guys always seem to be on the run from that insidious AI known as Aleph, chasing you out of the human sphere. I just couldn't help noticing that the boss in command of like the human law enforcement, the Latvian guys, Dementor, Dev, they've left. They're in Team Nomads right now. What do you have to say about that?
Well, they just saw that it's much better on this side. I mean, maybe they just break free from the control of those hideous machines.
Can't argue with that. We still have a couple of familiar faces, Hazmaster, Estegon as well, but a lot of new faces as well. So hope that you're encouraging the team and looking at army lists and giving out training lessons and stuff, because there's quite a few people who said, look, I'm not very good with Infinity, not very good with TTS, but I really want to play. I love the campaign, so make sure that you're supporting them.
Obviously, it's my duty to lead my soldiers.
Absolutely. Have you had a chance to think about the missions, have a look at some of the early release maps? What are your thoughts about the system so far?
Well, I actually had one training sparring with Hazmaster a few hours ago, and we actually practiced one of the maps. Yes, he need a load of catching up with some new updates of software, but don't worry, he's in a good way to improve. And yes, I do think this time there is much more open space, so we'll have to use more long-range weapons. But yes, those battlefields look appropriate for my army.
The other factions are complaining about how much hacking you have, but also how much, close combat you have, and also how much long range you have, and also how much your troops are cheap. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. So there's this thing called the GSP system. If you're okay with it, I'd like you to really start talking to your team over the next 48 hours, because I will need you to report back on Wednesday with the allocation of GSP spent by the faction, who is going to be the team champion for the first round, regardless of whether you're betting on them or not. And also, please, 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 I need you to be prepared, because once the GSP is all handed in from all of the factions and the results are released, you may have the opportunity to pair certain matchups, you may have the opportunity to veto maps. So can you make sure that that's taken care of in the next 2 days?
Obviously, yes. I'm gonna strike straight away after this communication, unless we lose signal. But definitely, I will start straight away, and it's gonna be taken care of fastly, rapidly. What's the word? Schneller. No, that's too many languages I need to learn for my dealing.
You speak too many languages, my friend. Now, there's the campaign correspondents as well. You know, the trooper on the battlefield that will represent you guys. I've been in the Haqqislam camp. They've got it sorted. There's a special model. There's a history for it. Badlazzor's already put a model into TTS for it. How's it going for Team Nomads? Have you guys got some camcores ready?
No, we don't have a visage ready because my camcor, Yuri Gagarin, is a very, very secret man. He doesn't want to show off too much, but when he speaks, when he shows messages, people listen. He's serious and he's professional, cold-blooded, and efficient.
Well, I look forward to his appearance on the battlefield. Now, as you know, with GSP, it's possible that one of the other factions may bid enough points that they can swap your first round opponent if they want to mess up your plans. But assuming that doesn't happen, you will be facing Badlazzor, the Japanese. Now, there's no other mercenaries. It's just Japanese people. They've got swords, they've got knives, they've even got guns. That's probably going to be your first round matchup. How do you expect that's going to be going?
I mean, those guys are silly enough to bring knives to a gunfight. I appreciate their bravery or just foolishness. We shall see.
We shall indeed. All right, we'll finish up the interview just in a second, but before we go, do you have any last messages for your opponents in this campaign, for your followers and supporters, the Nomad people, anything about the campaign, anything at all, just to leave us with?
Obviously, I want to say that there is no hard feelings. This is just a business. It's all about the money. So we are not having any bad blood. It's just what we have to do to survive in this cold space.
Well said, sir. Well, good luck in the campaign. I'll be following your progress very closely, and I will speak in a couple of days' time about the GSP.
Do svidaniya.
Okay, cool. So we're here with Pano boss ThananRollice. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How about you?
Yeah, very well, thank you. I have seen you in the TTS leagues before, but I think it's your first time actually being a campaign commander. Were you in the previous campaign or no? You joined late. I think you came in partway through.
Campaign. In the previous campaign where we were, we had like the big crusade with all the military orders people.
Yeah.
I was playing Winter 4.
Right, cool. And now you've signed on as military orders. Awesome. I actually just checked Facebook after I got up, and apparently there's a little bit of a early teaser about the new military order stuff. It's looking pretty cool.
Yes, I'm so excited.
It'll probably come out like the update halfway through the campaign, and obviously the military orders players will be allowed to use the new rules as soon as they're out, so there is that. Awesome, man. Hey, for people who don't really know anything about you, just tell us just a little bit about yourself as a gamer.
So, Infinity was actually my first tabletop game ever. And I found this game based on the military orders. Nice. I picked up a Father Knight Spitfire, and it was the first model I ever built and painted.
Great miniature.
And I've just fallen in love with the game ever since. I primarily play Pano, but I've also done some O12 and like Druze. But Pano will always be like my baby, my favorite faction of the whole game.
Awesome, man. Obviously, last campaign, PanOceania, the winners. We had Maslow and the Russian guys carry that one to victory. It was very close, obviously, that last game. You know, the guy.
Yeah, very exciting.
You reckon you can maintain that this time around? I mean, you've got some good players in there. I've been looking at it. This time the team's actually pretty good. Sangan's all right. Brother Spanker obviously swore an oath to stay with military orders until the end of N4, so he's not joining his friends. But we also have the obviously the champion, TTS champion Panda, and his buddy Anth from Finland. But also a lot of new players as well. You reckon you guys can pull it out again?
We're certainly going to try. I think that it'll be really interesting going up against our old companions now that they've all defected to the combined army. But we're really going to focus on getting the new players so that they feel really welcomed into our faction. And we're going to focus on list advice, and we're really going to focus on trying to make it as approachable as possible.
Yeah, man.
New and old players alike.
I mean, we're still getting signups in. We just hit 100 people, which is awesome. Do you have anything to say to people who are sort of on the fence at the moment, thinking about maybe, do I play for Pan or another team?
Well, I mean, I think the best thing we could possibly say is, military orders updates right around the corner, so you gotta try out the old stuff and then maybe get some upgrades halfway through the campaign.
Absolutely. That's a good pitch. So there's this GSP system for this campaign, and commanders are sort of working with their team to decide the faction strategy. One thing I really need you to do is in around about a day and a half, sort of my Wednesday late in the day, maybe about 36 hours from now, I need everybody to report back how the faction's going to distribute those GSP points, if you remember reading about them. And also, you have to choose a faction champion for the first round. It can change for each round, but you need to choose somebody. And please, please, please start thinking about which maps you want to play on if you get the right to veto them, and how you're going to actually manage the pairings if you're allowed to pair any of your players up against theirs. I haven't been seeing a lot of chat from Pano lately compared to the other faction teams, so I need you to be out there every day or two, generating some conversations and getting some input from your players so that you can report back to me a little bit later in the week. Is that cool?
Sure thing. Sounds good.
Awesome. Have you had a chance to look through the mission list and have a look at a few of the maps that have been released so far?
I have looked through the mission list. I'm pretty excited for there's a lot of the missions that I really like, and I'm thankful that something like Biotech 4 is not in, because I know a lot of people struggle with that one.
Yeah.
And then I haven't gotten the chance to see the maps yet, but based on previous experiences in the campaign, I know that they're going to be very varied in terms of openness and density.
They are, and they're available. So, I mean, what other teams are doing is that they're, having little group sessions and loading up the maps and having a look at them, and really encourage you guys to do the same with your spare time. Now, as you know, the GSP system does potentially allow a faction to mess with the first round pairings, in the sense that one team could be swapping opponents. Assuming that doesn't affect you, you'll be up against Ariadna. Right? So I talked to Mr. Lobo just a couple of days ago. He's ready for the matchup. He obviously doesn't think of you guys as an easy victim or anything like that. You've got all the MSV, but he's still pretty confident. Pano versus Ariadna, how do you think that's going to go?
It's definitely a tough matchup, I will say, because as always, camouflage is going to be one of the most strong abilities to have in the game, and that can be really tough for some people. But I do think that Pano, we've got the tools to get the job done. We've got MSV, we've got visual mods to combat their low ballistic skill, so we could just bully them that way. And we also have got some great sensor units like the bots that everyone gets and the Zulu Cobra, and we are really going to try to engage from a distance, really. I think that's going to be our best strategy.
Solid Pano strategy. Not unexpected, but still solid. All right, my friend. All right, so we'll pretty much finish up the interview in a second. Just lastly, anything you want to say about your opponents, in specific individuals, the teams, shout outs to people on your team, any final thoughts about this campaign that you're about to embark on?
I'm just really excited to see some old friends. I did have a lot of fun in the previous campaign, and sort of connecting with even my opponents in the past campaigns has been really great. So I think this is a great opportunity to anyone who wants to join in to not only play more games during this time in the world, but also to like just get out there and meet new people from other countries and just have a great time.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks for showing up to this interview. Best of luck in the campaign. I'll be watching your results closely. Now get out there and have a talk to your boys and work out a strategy. See you soon.
All right. Thank you.
All right, King Monke. How are we doing, buddy?
Pretty fine. I'm feeling confident in myself and the upcoming campaign.
Excellent. Most of the people on your team also Monkey Clan, same planet. Now, there are some people joining the overall Combined Army effort. As you know, there's some allies, the Combined Army, General Army, and then there's the Shazvasti people, different species. Tell us a little bit about yourself, just for the people on the team who just are not familiar with King Monkey.
Okay, so basically I come from Poland, which basically is in Europe, for anyone that doesn't know. I started playing in war games in primary school and went through a dozen of war games over the course of years. Played around 8 or 9 war games at this point, I'm pretty sure. I have a lot of war games. Outside of Infinity, I also played X-Wing and Armada, but Infinity is primarily the game I tend up to finally play, and this is the game that I had the most success with.
And you're good at it. You've been killing it in my leagues, man. You know, top 10 performances.
Well, it could be better. I mean, I was hoping to win all of them.
It's just a game of luck and chance and dice rolls anyway. Like, it's got nothing to do with your ability.
Not necessarily. It's more a fact of me being a curious player. I just cannot stick with a single faction, so I've played every single league. I played something different, and now I'm gonna dip my toe into the Combined Army. So, as I'm really not an extremely experienced player in Combined Army, I've played pretty much all of the other factions, and at the end of the game, as you said, this is just a game of luck, and I think that luck will favor me, and I'm pretty sure that I can.
I think it will
do something good. So all in all, I think that, just to sum it up, I'm just a player that plays good, not only Infinity. I had some success in other war games, but at the same time, both my strength and weakness can be that I tend to switch out factions and lists.
Same here. So I'm very much all across the board. Now, last campaign, Combined Army was being led by a guy called Data Tracker, and he's still in the team. He's just stepped down. He's still, part of the team. But under Data Tracker and the previous guys, Combined Army second to last. So quite low in the rankings last campaign. We're back at it. What are your expectations for the overall performance of Combined Army and the Monkeys this time around?
Well, just because Don was leading the faction, they were second to last, so that's why he's not leading them anymore. Last campaign, the faction that I was leading was winning, so this time I plan to do it the same, but on a different camp.
I like that confidence.
So what we're gonna do instead now is we're gonna make the gap between us and the second team and second place much bigger than the previous time.
Ambitious.
And that's what we're gonna do for this campaign.
Absolutely.
I'm not really gonna commentate on how Combined Army did previously, as there's not really
history.
A lot of
that was last year. We've moved on.
But I have all the players from Eastern Europe, from Russia, my friends that I'm pretty confident that they're gonna help me to carry this forward.
Except for Brother Spanker, of course.
Well,
now,
he had to be left behind because of.
I know.
Right?
I'm
So
just kidding. Look, we just
it's
hit
gonna
100
be
players today for
really
this campaign.
unfortunate.
It's going really well with the sign-ups. I'm still expecting a couple more people coming along. For anybody who might be watching this who's just on the fence, maybe they're a monkey, just a little bit of a shy monkey. Any words of encouragement for people who haven't signed up to the campaign yet?
I think that you have to reject the humanity, become a true monkey. But that's just a lower perspective. What you're gonna gain from signing up as my faction is a lot of memes, and they're not gonna be just memes in public chat because everyone does that. But we're gonna meme inside the game. We're gonna meme with our list. We're gonna meme with our faction names. We're gonna meme with our unit names, and we're gonna have a special missions for every single time. So I'm pretty sure you're gonna have a lot of fun times, and you're gonna be amazed how much can you get out of Infinity.
It's a tough competition though, because the Aleph guys
Format.
also got a lot of memes. I've been in their home base, and the memes are just flowing down the chat
I mean,
feed.
yes, I mean
Yeah.
everyone can post memes, but can you post memes while playing the game and winning
That's a
at
good
the
question.
same time?
That's a very good question.
That's gonna be what is was gonna different us from every other faction. We're gonna not only meme but also win by doing this.
All right, my friend. Hey, so I've released 8 maps so far. While you were, I know that you've just woken up to do this interview, but while you were sleeping, I posted 4 more maps, so please check them out. The next 3 are coming out maybe tomorrow. But one thing I need for you to do is, in the next 24 hours, need to decide the GSP allocation for the team Monke strategy, and to pick a team champion for the first round, regardless of whether you bet the GSP point on that person or not. And if you do win any of the bids for player pairings or map vetoes or switching a main pairing, just have a think about what your choices will be, because when Thursday comes around, I'll be asking you for decisions. So
I'm one
okay
step ahead of you because we already done that. We had a meeting yesterday and we had a lot of guys talk.
My man.
And we have pretty much all of this figured out at this point. So it's just a matter of waiting for the.
That's all I wanted to hear. Like, you're doing a great job, my friend. Now, there's the Camcore system as well, campaign correspondent. Is there like a Monkey, a Camcore invented?
So, yeah, exactly. There's a story, actually.
Yeah.
Because it's archivized, so no humans actually know about this. But when Morads first arrived on the Combined on the Paradiso, they found out that there was a monkey called Harambe. So they thought about him that Harambe is their secret ancestor. Mm-hmm. But humans were making memes and making fun of the Harambe, which turns into hatred from Morads. Evolved Intelligence saw this as an opportunity, and using the same technology as humans did for the Achilles and all the personalities,
they brought him back.
They created their own, and Harambe is back as a construct. So Harambe is now an AI aspect that we're gonna watch over us. But Harambe is a freakly one. He wants every monkey to honor him and to show his true mettle. So he's gonna give us some challenges for the games. So Harambe wants every Morad player to show himself as a true monkey. So the Harambe is not only gonna watch us, but demand from us as well.
A high standard. That's brilliant. I love that. Now, another thing about the GSP system is that potentially there may be a faction that spends some GSP points to mess with the first round pairings, and they could even give you a different opponent. At the moment, it's you versus Haqqislam, Perzan, and I'm assuming that's going to go ahead, but it might not. But assuming it does go ahead, it'll be the Monkeys against the Haqqislam guys. They've picked up some mercenaries along the way. The JSA just wanted to be pure JSA. They've kicked them out. East of ARM playing Ikari, and we had KHD playing Deshat. Now, I interviewed Perzan early in the week, and he said that monkey brains are considered to be like low and dull and uninteresting by some people, but he thinks that's not true. He actually thinks that they're high quality because they're a delicacy, meaning that he plans to actually eat them, which I find disgusting. But you'll be facing him in the field. It's going to be monkeys versus Haqqislam guys. How do you expect that mashup to go?
Well, to be honest, as I said previously, I have a lot of guys coming from previous campaign. I'm pretty confident they are good players. So I think that matchup really doesn't matter. So whatever it's gonna be, we're gonna just beat them up. We're gonna win on individual level, and that's pretty much what it's gonna come down to.
Fantastic. By the way, one of the maps that I added while you were asleep is a special monkey map, and I want you to DM me later once you've had a look, because I spent a lot of time on it. Yeah, the map does feature a big statue of the King Monkey.
But it's a firefight mission, right?
No, that is the map that I chose for Tempo War.
Tempo War. Okay, then it's better. At least it's not a firefight, because then I would have to relay you sad news that firefight is not really a good map to play with Moraths. So.
It's there are some fire special effect animations on the map, but it's not about a firefight mission. All right, lastly, we're going to finish up the interview. Do you have any final things to say about your opponents or about people on your team, or any shout-outs or anything about the campaign you want to communicate? This is the last chance.
So I'm going to give a big shout-out to all of the Russian community players that decided to jump on this bandwagon with me. We had a lot of talk, who are we going to roleplay as this campaign, and my proposition of going more as one. So big shout-out to them. What I have to say about the Haqqislam is pretty much no amount of genetical engineering is going to allow you to come even close to the genetical purity of the monkeys. And just a single example for this is that monkeys don't even have to wear clothes, whether it's cold or it's hot, and Haqqislam just has to wear
those
towels.
Haqqislam motherfuckers are so clothed up, they're just wearing clothes. Like, they got 3 layers of clothes. What's the deal?
They're just gonna wear rags on top of them. They can't even afford proper drip, so they're just wearing towels. And I think that it's pretty simple. We're just superior. It's even in the name. It's called Morath Supremacy. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory. We're genetically superior. We don't need clothes, and we have a cooler name pretty much. And we also have some snakes. If anyone,
both of you guys are religious.
That's true. Although this is kind of different religions. We're just believing that we are superior, so that's why we don't guts roll.
You are your own religion.
And they have like an actual religion, which is, kind of let down.
All right, my friend. Well, look, thank you for coming to this interview. We got to go. Best of luck in the campaign. We'll be watching your results closely, and I'll speak to you tomorrow about the strategy and the decisions. All right?
Yeah, of course.
Catch you later, my friend.
Have a good night. Actually, good evening. Cheers. Bye.
All right, that's it, guys. We just heard from the 8 faction commanders in the Militant Purity Infinity Faction campaign 4N4. Not as much banter as I would have hoped for, not as much trash talk, really. I was just hoping for so much trash talk. But obviously these guys are ready, they're keen. Do reach out to them, talk to them if you got any questions, and let's see how these guys actually do during the next few weeks as we run this campaign.